from the crowd. Now she's Panthers on the bathroom sink. Her mother would be so proud. Gets on a deed and there's a line to go pee, but the bathroom looks like a war zone.
Welcome in to episode 232 of Phired Sports. Check us out at phiredsports.com. Better late than never, they say. We usually set these up for 9 o'clock. I saw kids' softball games ran late, and here we are. Better late than
Life
never.
of a parent.
Yes, exactly. So like the way they're supposed to do it is, and for their softball league, it's like either 6 innings or an hour and a half, whatever comes first. If the hour and a half comes and goes, you can't start a new inning after the hour and a half. You can finish the inning, obviously, but you can't start a new one after the hour and a half. I think it was like an hour and like 40 minutes. The innings were done. And for some reason, they're like, let's do another inning. I'm like, why? No, we shouldn't be doing this. So we had to play an entire whole inning. It was, it was a mess.
At least it was a little bit of a light night for Philly sports.
Yes.
You had to miss some players and stuff. That would have been tough. But
that would have been tough. Yes, that would have been tough. Obviously, there's a Phillies win tonight. The Phillies might be back. Might be back. I don't know. All it took was Rob Thompson being the sacrificial lamb, but they might be back.
Yeah,
and they get to play some mediocre teams the next handful of weeks. Schedule lightens up a little bit.
You got to give Dombrowski credit for that because
sure.
You got to give him credit because when he fired Girardi, he fired him at a very opportune time. Phillies had like a light part of their schedule. He did the same thing, firing Thompson, putting Mattingly in there. And maybe it's just the Donnie baseball era. Maybe we're just in the Donnie baseball era now.
Yeah.
His brought a different look. All of a sudden the Phillies are laying down. We got guys laying down bunts. We're doing hit and runs now. There's like fundamental baseball things happening out there. So,
something we're not used to with this.
Yeah. Phillies and fundamental have not been simpatico the last couple of years here.
No,
so,
I still think they have like the worst defensive metrics in all of baseball, but hey, it's a work in progress at this point.
Yeah.
So
we'll see if they can if they can improve on that from the time Mattingly got the job through I'd like to see where those numbers are, like June, July. Even if they're still they're not making quantum leaps, maybe they're making significant steady progress. That'd be nice.
Baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps. I'm willing to take baby steps based on how this started this year. So, but yeah, another win, man, for them. And maybe it was what a lot of the things we talked about on this show, right, Mike? Maybe it was just kind of time and, maybe guys were getting a little complacent and just a fresh voice in that room in charge. Sometimes that's what you need to kind of get guys to wake guys up, so to speak.
Yeah, and Bryce Harper's starting to come along. 2 home runs tonight. Bryson Stott's been hitting really well lately. He's kind of catching his stride a little bit, which is nice. I don't know who knows how long that'll last, but he's starting to kind of figure things out. The pitching obviously has been much better the last handful of games. It's at this point just string along the wins, win series, and try to get back into the fight. I mean, it's early enough where you dug yourself such a big hole, but it's early enough that you can kind of get out of the hole.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I think too. It was it was a little bit of both things, right? With the decision to fire Thompson, it was that kind of had to be done because things were they didn't look like they were going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And then it looked like they were also not going to get off that path anytime soon. So, old saying goes, you can't fire the players, let the manager go, put someone else in there. And all of a sudden it just wakes guys up, I think. It gets their attention. And plus guys know, I think it was very clear. I think some of the players even said it. They understood that was on them. That the firing was on them. And as long as they understand that, and it wakes guys up. It gets them. It gets guys eyes perk up. They they pop open like, oh man, like this guy just got fired. Like they will let people go, and we're not running a country club over here. So, but it is early, So, but that was something that really kind of felt like it needed to be done.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And they're playing better baseball. Whether it's because Thompson got fired, who knows? I guess that remains, you never know, but how those things shake out. But they're playing better baseball, which is all we can ask for at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Obviously, we got bigger, better things to talk about tonight. Let's get into this Flyer series. So last week when we talked, we were kind of previewing a potential Game 6, and you had to take care of business against the Penguins. They did that. An incredible game, incredible moment with Cam York in the overtime winner. Seems like forever ago. It was just like last week when that happened.
Yeah.
And obviously, I guess we talk a little bit about that game if you want, but that overtime kind of, as the game went along in that Game 6 against Pittsburgh, it kind of seemed like this doesn't look good. Pittsburgh kind of controlled the game the second half of the game, and the further the game went along, it just seemed like Pittsburgh started to take over. Now, Cam Ward. Wow, where does my mind at?
Wow, what a goal!
Yeah, listen, I'm in hurricane mode. I guess the 04 Hurricane team, they pulled a rabbit out of a hat and got success in 2004 or whatever year it was. Cam York scores the overtime goal. Incredible moment. Almost kills the guy in the stands with a stick. Yeah, it was just a great overall game, especially like eliminating the Penguins too on top of it. Just a great time to be alive.
It was
that series.
It was, and it sudden death overtime, man. Because all it takes is one shot, no matter what goes on in the game. Because they were holding on, for a lot of that overtime. And you kind of, what's his name? It's funny looking at that overtime, right? That's the series clincher against Pittsburgh. You look at last night's game, Game 2 against Carolina. Overtime, Flyers actually kind of carry in play in the overtime, and then they lose on an OT goal. So it's like the ice can be tilted in your favor, but it necessarily doesn't. It doesn't sometimes matter, especially in the playoffs. And
that's hockey.
Yeah, that's it. That's hockey, and there's an element more in hockey than there is in any other sport. Like that element of randomness. Can happen in hockey. We see stuff like that all the time. We just saw, if you're following the playoffs, Montreal hanging on for dear life against Tampa. They beat them in Game 7. Like what was it like? They had a few goals on like like however many shots. It was like
they didn't have a single shot in the second period, and I want to say they only had like 12 or 13 for the entire game.
Yeah, it was a low total. And then, Dobich was great in goal for the Habs, and they hang on and they eliminate Tampa, So there's like that element of randomness, and that stuff does happen sometimes, and
9 shots that game. 9.
That's incredible.
And like the game winner, did you even see the game winner? It was like, it wasn't even like a great goal. Like he like batted the puck out of midair from like behind the net. Like it was just one of those like just get it towards the net and good things happen.
Yeah, and it's like that's why a lot of those old school hockey types and all, they say those things, right? Because you see that happen in the postseason more often than any other time in the year. You could be watching hockey all season long, watch a guy swing at a puck like that, miss it 8-9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, he gets his stick on, it goes in the net. Like it's crazy like that.
Yeah, like the Cam Ward. Why do I keep saying Cam York? It's the second time I've done this. The Cam York shot wasn't like a great, spectacular, beautiful play. It's just like get it to the net with traffic and it finds a spot in. The Hurricanes overtime winner in Game 2, like it crashed the net. Get the puck towards the net, good things happen. So it's just that's all playoff hockey is. Get the puck to the net, create havoc, chaos, and the puck will find a way in.
Yeah, you can kind of like if you're creating kind of chaos in and around the goal, good things will happen. And so yeah, I think for the Flyers, especially in this series, Carolina has really kind of flexed their muscles in this so far through 2 games. We know they're a great team, and I'm sure they're looking at this as like a real opportunity to kind of get over the hump finally. They've been in the playoffs a lot, have had a lot of good teams, but just not able to find a way past really Florida. I mean, Florida was like their big bugaboo here for a little while. So, but the Panthers aren't in it, so like they're probably looking at it like, hey, like there's not a team left we don't feel like we can compete against, and you
This
know,
may be a hot take. I think they lose to Buffalo.
really,
I do.
wow, yeah,
Because like Buffalo is big and fast, which like I think a big team can beat this Hurricanes team because their best players are like 5 foot nothing. So all you have to do is hit them, and they can score a lot better than the Flyers can. They have a lot of offensive firepower. I don't know if Montreal could beat the Hurricanes though. But I
yeah,
think Buffalo goes against them. I would take Buffalo in a 7 game series against
interesting,
the Hurricanes. I
yeah,
just stylistically the way they play, I feel like the Flyers. I'm almost gonna throw game one out the window because like, and I'm not making excuses, but like the NHL did not put them in the best place to play that game on game one on what was that Saturday. Like they
yeah,
gave them like 24-hour notice or maybe less than 48-hour notice. They didn't know when they were playing. They just played a game 2 days before. Like everything went against the Flyers in that game. A sense of like you just had an emotional high from game 6 overtime. You don't know when you're playing. You find out you got to you're on the road. So like I almost threw that game out the window. But in game 2, the Flyers dominated for large stretches. Like if they just had a competent power play and like some offensive, more dangerously offensive guys, which I think that is Buffalo. I think Buffalo could definitely give them a run for their money.
yeah. Game 2 was tough. I mean, like I look at that game and like you mentioned, the power play, which has been you
Awful.
can't sugarcoat it. It's been dreadful all year, and it's been dreadful for the last couple seasons. And
Mhm.
we're talking about like there's been personnel changes, there's been different coaches running it. I personally believe that there is a not I'm not talking like top unit in the league or anything, but I think there's enough talent on this team with like Martone and Michkov and Forrester, some guys, in Forrester and Martone in particular, those guys can really rip it. Owen Tippett, Jamie Drysdale it's been a work in progress with him as quarterback on the power play, but he's done an okay job. Konechny, like there's enough talent, like just looking at the individuals, like there's enough talent to make some kind of relatively decent unit. This shouldn't be the worst power play in the league.
Well, yeah, and
And
that's kind of what I wanted to ask you is like, how do you fix it? Is it personnel? Do you put a different 5 guys out there? Do draw up certain schemes and style on the power play? Like, how, in your opinion, how do you fix this power play? Because it
yeah,
should be
yeah,
better.
yeah, like it should be better. I would like for them to kind of get more. Some of it's scheme. I feel like I like there's not a lot of great like the Flyers coaches preach a lot about like taking the eyes away of the goaltender and like some of the things we were just talking about. Get the puck and get the puck to the net and kind of create some like scramble opportunities in and around the net. But like the Flyers don't have any like true like net front guys. Like when I think of like a net front guy, I think of like a Wayne Simmons, James Van Riemsdyk,
Yeah,
John
and I
LeClaire.
think yeah, and I think Martone is or will be that guy, but like reality is he's 19 years old and going up against guys that are much stronger than anybody he's had
Right.
to play against in his entire life. So there's an adjustment there. He's gonna have to put on muscle, but like I think Martone will be that guy.
Yeah, and I would like to see more plays below the goal line. I think there's a lot of perimeter passing on it, which that's not necessarily scheme. That's more personnel guys like I would like guys like players like Konechny and stuff like that. I think they could really do some damage. Michkov from below the goal line, but they don't really have them there on the power play, and those guys don't
Yeah.
really go to those areas either. So it's like, I wish that was preached a little bit more and could be and really kind of let them kind of do things down low because I think there's real opportunity there to create some
I
offense.
agree, and I think the best way to get down there, and this is also like a schematic change I'd make. And listen, I think new age hockey people are going to lose their minds, when I say this. But like, Carolina does such a great job at like clogging that blue line. Like the Flyers can't even enter the zone on the power play. So
Yeah.
again, new age guys are going to hate to hear this. I think on the power play, I think against the Hurricanes, just get it in deep. Go get it behind the D, chase them, get the puck.
Yeah.
They cannot enter the zone against this Hurricanes team.
Well, the thing is, too, it's like their defense is so mobile
Sure.
and
Yeah.
can move the puck incredibly efficiently. The problem is like they break down a lot of those chipping chases anyway because
Yep.
they get the puck, they go back on retrievals, they get it out really quick. You're one and done in a lot of those cases. They also don't have guys, too, as you mentioned, like they don't have enough players that can kind of skate a puck in and set it all up. Like a controlled entry. They don't really have a guy like that. So you're really kind of just rimming it hard all the way around, trying to get in that way. It's hard to set it up, especially when, as you said, like a team like Carolina, they're pressuring the puck all over the place,
Yeah.
and they don't get any time. So you take that one moment of like indecision, like they're on you. So
Yeah, like I think in terms of like carrying the puck up, it's like Zegers and like maybe Drysdale are the only two people I trust to do that. Like Michkov maybe get there at some point, but he's such like a wild card with the puck, and you never know where it's going to end up. Whether it's in the other team's zone or in your own zone. Like, so I think he's such a wild card. He could get there at some point, but I don't trust him to like carry it into the zone right now.
yeah.
Although I tell you what, in that overtime, like he looked dangerous in that overtime.
Yeah, he did, and I liked his line a lot. I liked the Cates, Forrester, Michkov line. I thought that they did a nice job. A rough night for the rookie line, I think, with Barkey and Bump and Martone, but that's okay. Like they're young guys, and like you said, Martone's still a teenager, so there's, even though it was really exciting and fun what he was doing, there's still going to be growing pains there and learning opportunities, as there is for Michkov and stuff like that. But I thought they actually played a pretty good overtime period, and you have a 2-goal lead. You can't blow a 2-goal lead, no matter who you're playing. So, that kind of looks like a missed opportunity to come home, tied at 1.
I also think officiating so far in these entire playoffs, but like in that game too specifically, was an absolute gong show.
Yeah, it was bad.
The officiating, and like not even just for the Flyers, for both sides. I thought there were a lot of weak calls. The one call on Andre, no ref even saw it happen. They just like saw a guy on the ground, so they had to call something. The Taylor Hall icing or not icing, where there's not a snowball chance in hell any ref saw that touch a stick, but Taylor Hall starts crying for 5 minutes, so you have to change it. Again, there's no way any of them saw it. Like, I don't know.
It's
think
been
a very poorly officiated series and playoffs in general.
Yeah, I think so. I felt that way too about the Flyers-Penguins series, that it was poorly officiated from both perspectives. I thought on replays and things like that, I kind of felt like a lot of both teams had claims to calls that weren't made, or you know what I mean. It's hard to play like that because you don't really know the precedent. Like if you're gonna call it like by the book, then call everything. I don't particularly like that, but if you're gonna call it that way, call it that way.
I'd almost prefer it that way because, like, in my opinion, I'm not like a hockey purist. I'm an old head hockey fan, but like, it's I don't like seeing 40 minutes of power play time, which it felt like game 2 was. Like
Yeah.
every 2 minutes there's a power play. To me, I think it ruins the flow of the game, and I would just prefer to see 5-on-5 hockey determine playoff games.
Yeah.
And there was a power play. There was what 12, 13 power plays in that game. It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with that. I'd rather see the game kind of free flow at 5-on-5. Or too, like if it's called, like, I don't know how they're determining in a lot of these, like, scuffles and scrums. I mean, I guess this is a problem also in the regular season, but, like, you know, just take both guys in those instances. Like, you see them kind of like trying to separate everybody, and it's like just give them both two and play four aside, instead of just trying to, like, oh, we're giving this guy a roughing call because you were the last one to throw it. Like, you're never going to satisfy everybody with that. So you may as well just take take both players and just play four aside. At least that kind of keeps the game flow stuff. It kind of keeps the game flow going instead of the stationary power play stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And I thought the Dan Vladar penalty was weird. Like, he gets run over and the guy is smack on the butt. It was like a scene out of Dazed and Confused. He just started giving it to him with the paddle. But like, a guy runs your crease. I think a goalie has every right to. I mean, apparently, if you're Freddie Anderson, you could just check people out of the crease, and that's fine.
Yeah. You should just be able. I don't know. I think Vladar should just go. He should have just went and got his money's worth.
Yeah, if you're at 2 minutes, get your money's worth. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like, guy ran you, and you're so at least in that case, if you, like, absolutely lose your mind on a guy, like, at least you could turn around to the referee and be like, "Yo, he ran the crease, he ran me.
Yeah. All right.
What do you want me to do?" kind of thing, and then maybe you can kind of, like, work it. You know what I mean, with the referee, be like, "Oh, maybe we got to even this up," because he's pretty mad right now. So it's like that kind of thing. Some gamesmanship there, maybe.
Yep. Now Tippett was out the first 2 games. I can only imagine what he's dealing with. I don't know. No speculation here. They haven't really said it. It's got to be something with the list of things hockey players usually play with. I imagine it's pretty serious, but the fact that they gave him kind of a day-to-day tag, you're down 2-0. He's got to play Thursday, right?
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, he's been on the ice, so he has skated a little bit. Like you said, I have to imagine he's in a fair bit of pain if he's not playing, knowing what guys play through. So I have to imagine it's pretty serious. He's somebody they could really kind of use in this series, too, with that straight line speed. We were just talking about guys skating the puck in and kind of controlling the puck. He's somebody who has, like, the north-south, like, ability to skate. And
breakaway speed, yeah.
Yeah, like lug a puck into the zone and kind of look to make a play, There's an opportunity there to do that. So I think he could be a useful player in the series for the Flyers and kind of help try to close the gap against a very good team and a team that's, much better than them. But at least, you have a guy that can kind of do that kind of thing. But I would imagine he's pretty banged up. I would like to think, like you said, I would agree that he would play this Thursday, but I really don't know how close he is or anything like that.
And Tocchet also said today that Noah Cates is day-to-day, so hopefully it's not like a tip it in, Cates out. Hopefully there's another guy they get, because I think Cates is a really useful player. I think he's played fairly well. So, yeah, I don't know what to make of that, but hopefully it's not like a tip it in, Cates out kind of thing, and you can find another body to sit.
Yeah, that would be tough, because Cates has been a good player for them, useful bottom six guy, works his tail off. He's, and plus he had good count, like him and Michkov and Forster looked like they had something going there. So it would be a shame to kind of have to break that up because of an injury to Cates. So.
Yep. And another person I want to talk about, and they're never going to do this because of the leadership and everything, but it's been a really rough time for Travis Konechny. Obviously, had the breakaway in overtime. According to sources on that I've read online, they're saying he hit the net. They're saying Anderson made the save. To me, it looked like he missed the net. I know people are kind of crucifying him for that blown opportunity, but I think it goes beyond that. I think he's looked bad and I've been talking about it. I think he's looked bad for the last month or two. I don't know if he's battling something. I think he has 2 goals in 30 total playoff games in his career. Again, they're never going to put him in the press box, but you need so much more from Travis Konechny than you've gotten.
Yeah, yeah, they do. And I would agree. I think he's been fighting it for a little while now, and would not be surprised at all if he was dealing with something this time of year. But I mean, guys aren't going to be making. Guys aren't really going to. You're not going to be able to sell anybody on any excuses. And I'm sure TK, he's not embracing any excuses either. I'm sure he knows he has to be better. But yeah, it's been a tough time for him. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. I would have liked to have seen him kind of try to carry that puck all the way in instead of taking the shot. I know that there was back pressure coming on that play, but I thought there maybe have been an opportunity there for him to kind of skate in a little bit more on that play and try to maybe, hit Anderson with a deke instead of taking the shot. But
yeah, I don't think you realized how much time he truly had.
Yeah. So, like I said, I know it might have even been as well. It could have been Slavin chasing him down, which is probably maybe why he thought, I need to get this off because, he's one of the best defenders in the league. Jacob Slavin. So, maybe there was some of that, but yeah, it was weird. It was weird to see that. I saw that conversation too about whether or not he hit the net or not, whether or not it was a shot on goal. I was like, I mean, whatever. It didn't go in, so it didn't really matter. But
trying to see who was on his tail here. Couldn't really tell. Slavin was on the ice, but Slavin was kind of nowhere near him.
Okay.
Yeah, there's really nobody near him. I guess Slavin's the closest guy to him, but Konechny had a good 2-3 steps on him.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I mean, he hasn't played well, right? But, he's one of these guys too, I think, he's going to be here,
sure,
contract, and so they obviously need him to step up, and I would love to see him get, a moment, kind of in the postseason, whether it's a big goal, a big hit that kind of changes the momentum in a game or something like that.
Yeah, the biggest moment he's had in this playoffs is elbowing Rust in the face. That's all. That's all he did. That's all he's done.
Yeah. It would have been memorable, I think, if he would have got if they would have fought, when he was waving the gloves at him, kind of thing. But I would like to see him kind of have a moment there where he can kind of do something that has a positive impact on a game. Similarly, I think to what we kind of saw in this series from Sean Couturier, who's been very good.
Yep.
And got rewarded with a goal last night. And really kind of looks like he's been rejuvenated in this lower line role.
Now it's still, and I don't think they're going to do it because of the leadership thing. He's your captain. He's played so well. There will have to be some tough conversations the next year or two because he's clearly not a top 6 guy anymore. He's found a great role on that fourth line, and he's been incredible. And he's turned back the clock, but you can't pay a fourth liner $7-8 million, whatever he's making.
Yeah,
can't do it.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, to be in that predicament, and maybe it's one of those things where kind of even though that's not really a thing in the NHL, but maybe like there's an opportunity there where you can kind of load manage him a little bit to kind of like get this best version of him throughout the season.
Yeah.
And then like playoffs roll around, if you're there, then you kind of use them. You're rolling 4 lines anyway. Tocchet likes to roll 4 lines, so I mean, like then he's able to kind of really ratchet it up a notch, you know. But it is a concern. I think with the cap going up, it kind of makes it alleviates it a little bit, and it's just like I don't know, I don't know what the answer is as far as that goes. You know, it's not like a buyout would be absolutely like you wouldn't be able to, you don't want to have that on the books, and you'd rather just may as well just have them play for you at that point.
Yeah.
So it's a rock and a hard place, and it sucks when that happens because Couturier was the type of player in his prime. Like I mean, when he got paid, he undisputably deserved it.
Sure. Yeah.
And just had a couple, the back surgeries and things like that, and he's not that player anymore. But he's been good in this playoff. He's been a lot of fun to watch, and kind of setting the tone physically. He's actually one guy too, I think, that hasn't looked overwhelmed by the pace, even though he's not he's never been a great skater.
No,
but he actually looks like he's able to kind of keep up.
Yeah,
and I felt that way in game 1 as well. He was one of the few guys I thought actually played pretty decently in that game. And then, game 2, he got rewarded with the goal. So hopefully he can keep that going here. And that'll give him a chance to, for the Flyers to get a win here. And who knows what happens.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to take care of business. I think at this point, you're down 2-0 to Carolina. I think you have to win the next 2 at home because I think if you lose game 3, you're not winning 4 straight against this Hurricanes team.
Right.
And even if you take just one of these games and you're 3-1, I don't think you're coming back and winning 3 straight against this team. I think you gotta win 2.
Yeah, you gotta win game 3 and 4, I think, to have a chance to say you're in it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens at home. I'm sure, hopefully the building's rocking and but they weren't the only ones that night. I mean, the Sixers didn't do fair much better up in New York.
No,
in their second round series.
You lose by 30.
Yeah, that was a rough one. I was hoping too, and I also thought, I felt this way about the Flyers as well. I was hoping that maybe you could kind of carry some momentum from that Penguin series. Like I thought the Sixers maybe could carry some of that momentum over from the Boston Game 7 going into New York, and it just didn't happen. In that game. So
yeah, I was watching a little bit of it after the first intermission of the Flyers game, and the Sixers just could not hit a shot, just at all.
Yeah.
We just could not shoot. And
so
got away from them. So
yep. So that's tomorrow. I think game 2 for Sixers Knicks is tomorrow, and so we'll see how that series goes. But they're fighting an uphill battle too, as the Dogs in that series. So much like the Flyers, but I did want to mention too. I think about speaking of the Flyers. Did you see the NHL draft lottery?
I did. Yes. Yep.
Flyers have the Toronto Maple Leafs first round pick. They won the lottery.
But somehow we live in a world where a professional sports team can't get anything right. Nobody knows what year the Flyers pick. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Is it the 2027 pick they have at Toronto's or the 2028 pick? Everything I know about the trades Toronto has made is that the 2028 pick should go to the Flyers, but the Flyers believe they should get the 2027 pick, and there's some NHL insiders and believe that the Flyers are going to win that argument to the league and they're going to get 2027. How do we live in a world where nobody knows?
Well, what's crazy is the NBA in particular, they have all this stuff mapped out for trade protections and things like that on picks because teams do it all the time.
Sure, yeah.
You never see a team. This is a relatively new concept in the NHL where teams actually protect their first. Our picks lottery protected. So if we miss the playoffs, we get our pick back. Toronto was bad this year. Flyers got their first round pick for this season in the Scott Lawton trade. So, but it was obviously it may have been said at the time, I don't remember, but the Flyers, the Maple Leafs had protected their first round pick.
So the Flyers, I believe, made the trade with Toronto before Toronto made the trade with Boston. The trade was Scott Lawton for the 2027 first round pick and Nikita Grabenkin, and the 2027 pick was top 10 protected. If that pick was top 10, it would go to 2028 unprotected. Right. So then after that, they made a trade with Boston for Brandon Carlo. And it was Fraser Minton plus a 2026 top 5 protected pick. And if it landed in the top 5, this was the wording at the time. If it landed in the top 5, that would slide to 2027 unprotected, and the 2027 pick that the Flyers now own shifted to 2028. Now, I don't know how we're sitting here a year later and nobody knows where this pick belongs. It seems crazy to me.
I would have, wouldn't you have done a variety of things, right? If you were the NHL, wouldn't you make a spreadsheet maybe with the information to track these picks and things like that? We all have it, right? You can get Microsoft Excel and put the information in or whatever. We use that for our fantasy hockey leagues, right, Mike? Like, you would think that the NHL, the greatest hockey league in the world, wouldn't have this problem, but apparently they do, and they can't keep track of anybody's first-round picks when they trade them. So
I'd even be fine with them, like, on a loose leaf paper, just drawing with crayon. Anything better than just nobody knows.
Yeah, and it's just like, but that should have been flagged at the time.
Yes.
That they made the Brandon Carlo trade and be like, oh, you can't do that because you owe the Flyers the 27 pick for the Scott Lawton trade.
Right.
Like, that should have been nixed immediately. Yes. And like, hey, like, you guys, if you guys still want to make this trade, it has to be for other assets. You can't trade that asset. So, I don't know. It doesn't seem like anybody seems to know. The Flyers don't have any clarity. It seemed the Flyers feel like they're gonna get the 27 pick.
Well, again, I still don't know how.
Right.
Why do they think? Where did that come from? Because your original trade was a 2027 first round pick, top 10 protected.
Yeah.
And then the condition of that trade was if it's top 10 in the top 10, it moves to 2028.
Yeah.
So how do they just get a 2027 unprotected?
Yeah, I don't.
According to those conditions, it doesn't make sense.
Gary Bettman, I don't. This has been high time for Gary Bettman needs to go away. We need a new commissioner. This guy's been in charge for a long time now. I don't understand why this stuff happens. It makes it all look minor league and second rate when stuff like that goes down. I don't know how that ends up happening. So, also the caveat here is, and I'm gonna put like for this, Mike, I'm gonna put my conspiracy hat on.
Okay.
Maybe a tinfoil hat. I don't know. You can tell me.
This. Yep.
Little suspicious.
Yep.
That the Toronto Maple Leafs win the draft lottery.
Yep.
On a day where a story comes out that Austin Matthews, their leader and captain, isn't really sure if he's going to be back next year.
And about, I don't know the timeline specifically, 24 to 48 hours when their president got publicly roasted in an introductory press conference about the guy they just hired as their general manager. One of the most savage interview questions I've ever seen at a press conference. Like, the Toronto Maple Leafs front office is in absolute shambles, and the NHL obviously wants Toronto to be great and be successful, and it's a big moneymaker in the league.
Absolutely.
The organization is a clusterfuck, so here's the first overall pick. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm not a big conspiracy person, but
I will say this.
Something's up about that.
In the last 10 years, I think it's 10 years, the Maple Leafs have missed the playoffs twice. They won the lottery both years. Just saying.
Wow. Wouldn't it be nice to win the lottery not once, but twice?
Sorry, the Sharks are just picking tie again too.
Yeah, and that kind of thing too, like teams like the Sharks, the Blackhawks, I think there should have been a rule in place where like you can't pick in the top 5 like 3 straight years.
So I think they did make something similar where you can't win the lottery, but I think they're quoting they're saying winning by the number 1 pick. I don't know if it counts as number
Right.
2, but I think if in like twice in 5 years or something like that, I don't think that can happen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, like it's I don't know.
I'm talking like top 5 though.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah. Yep.
you know what I mean? Like to end up in the top 5 like 3-4 straight years. I mean, not that that's a guarantee for anything. I mean, look how many times we saw the Oilers swing and miss before, McDavid was drafted, And even then, like, look at that situation there now. Like, but, yeah, like, it just seems fishy to me.
Yes.
about,
You're not
like,
alone. Yes.
everything going on in Toronto. And then, they just so happen to win the lottery here. And now there's all this like the questions here about the who bought between the Flyers and Boston, and it's going to end up being however the picks get dispersed. Watch, somebody's going to get a star with that pick, like a future star.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if the Flyers get the 2027 pick? The Maple Leafs trade Austin Matthews to whoever,
Yeah,
and they're bad. And the Flyers get the first overall pick, and for Scott Lawton, we
Yeah.
get defensive phenom Landon Dupont. Could you imagine
that would be it. That was
for Scott Lawton?
yeah, and Nikita Gravenkin.
Sure, yeah.
Throw him in that mix. That would be incredible. That is the kind of fortune that this team has just not had over the last how it got out
It's
over many
definitely
years.
not happening because it just doesn't
Because we
happen
just
to us.
talked about it.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen to us, so it's not going to happen. But one can dream.
Yeah. I don't even want to think about if that could have been potentially that situation plays out, but it's Boston.
Yes, that also.
And then it's like
That's more likely. I think that's more likely that it's.
and then it's like DuPont and McAvoy are like their top pair for like the next 15 years. That would be disgusting.
Yes.
I would hate that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, so that's what's going on in the world of the NHL while the NHL playoffs are going on. They can't help themselves with this kind of thing. And
No.
I feel dreadful for the Vancouver Canucks, who are statistically the worst team in the league. They're not picking first or second.
Yep.
So that feels like it's all for naught. I feel terrible for their fans. Another great market, another great hockey market, but rough year and really nothing to show for it. That's never fun.
No. No, it is not. Are you got anything else Flyers wise before we move on? I mean, there really isn't much to talk about. We touched on the Sixers a little bit. I don't know if you wanted to dive a little deeper into that series or where your thoughts are, where you wanted to take this.
Yeah, I think for the Sixers, number one, I came away. I was so incredibly happy about how it played out with the Celtics series, exercising demons there against a team that they really have seldom beat in the playoffs. It's been the first time since 1982, which was incredible. First time they've erased a 3-1 deficit, 0-18 or whatever it was, and in the organization's history and stuff, and a really awesome game for Embiid. It's going to be a little bit different of a matchup with Towns and Mitchell Robinson and those guys he's going to be playing against. But I was so impressed with the job in that series against Boston that, I've given him a lot of flack. We may have given him a lot of flack on the show. I don't remember, but Paul George had a great series. Looked like the player that they paid and the player he was, other places, Indiana, Oklahoma City, all the other places he played where he was a top end player. So I think in this series again, like you're going to have to find an answer for Jalen Brunson and slowing him down. And, they didn't have much success in game one slowing anybody down, but hopefully they're able to get a lid on that in game two. But like they're also in a situation where, based on expectations wise, it feels like they're playing with house money. But I mean, like this is an organization that absolutely needs to. They need to get past the second round. Like, and it would be great if Embiid could help carry them there. For his legacy and things like that. He had a legacy game, I thought, in that game 7. Watching him and Jaylen Brown going at it, and the trash talk and all that. That was a really awesome moment, one that I know that I'll remember in his career. And so like it would be nice if someone's going to have to step up here and among those guards too. I think to kind of help try to slow down Brunson. Whether it's Maxey, Edgecombe, I'm sure he'll get some of them in this series, and they're going to have to kind of try to cap that as best they can.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, that you have to make a run with the criticism of like Daryl Morey not being able to get deep in the playoffs as far back as his time in Houston, and
Yeah.
Nick Nurse, kind of he had the one run, but what is he as a coach? And obviously, we found out that he's attended his brother's funeral services, and he lost his brother last week, I think.
Yeah.
Before Game 6 or after Game 6 of that Celtic series. So, condolences to him and his family, but it's like you gotta start proving people that like you belong as like as one of the top teams in the league.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I mean, like honestly, like you said it, put it very well about Nick Nurse. Like shout out Nick Nurse for the mental toughness to kind of be dealing with a death in your family, still showing up to work and doing your job in like a high stakes environment, and coming home and then having to go back to New York for game 2. I mean, like shouts out to him for that. But they do need this series for that to kind of just like, like I said, exercise the demons here. They did it against Boston, and that was great. But here's another opportunity against a rival.
Does the Boston win feel differently without Tatum being there in that game?
Not for me. I mean, I understand people saying that. You still have to play who you're going to play. It's a game 7.
Yep.
I thought it was an odd. I thought Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics made some odd lineup decisions. They went really small, and because they didn't really trust any of their bigs to defend Embiid, so it was
are they sticking with this knee stiffness argument for Tatum?
I think so. I haven't seen anything else.
A weak excuse to miss a game 7.
Yeah, a playoff game, right? Like
game 7, that seems nuts.
Yeah. Yeah,
I thought maybe his Achilles was acting up again. He retore like it's just knee stiffness keeps you out of a game 7.
Yeah,
that goes against everything I know about competitive sports.
And there's Embiid, right? Like a couple weeks removed from like an appendix surgery, and he even caught he caught a blow to the chest cavity last night. Right?
Yeah,
and I was just like, Jesus, like this guy can't. I'm at a point with him too where it's like you can't question this guy's toughness anymore. Like I think Joel really cares about winning.
And I don't think anybody ever questioned his toughness. It's just that his body physically is made of glass.
Yeah,
like that's not his fault because I think will do everything he can to like push through it and try to fight through it. But his body a lot of times just won't allow him to.
Yeah, and crazy stuff happens to him.
Yeah.
He had the cerebral palsy thing. Remember a couple years ago during the playoffs? It was like Jesus, anything that could happen to those guys happened to him. So
it's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, they're he's obviously a big point of emphasis for what they do, and but it's going to be. I'm strapped in for a long series here. I hope that they can make this prolong this series. I think the longer it goes, that should benefit the Sixers kind of, especially against a team that, like the Knicks, they're very good. And but the East is wide open.
Yep.
It's really wide open, even more so that Boston's out. If the Knicks were to go out, I mean, I don't want to count, you don't want to count your eggs before but there's like a real pathway. I mean, you could get to the title.
Who is it? Detroit, and who's the other team that they're playing?
It'll be Detroit and Cleveland, right? I think Cleveland. Did Cleveland beat Toronto? Did that happen?
I believe so. Yes, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
So there was a couple game sevens there. And Detroit's got a good team. Like I think Detroit's a good team. The Pistons have a really good.
The 1 seed, but they were also down 3-1 to the Magic, so
Yeah.
they're beatable.
Yeah. So who knows? And they're younger. They have a lot of young talent. So they're still, I think, learning how to win. This is like the first year they really kind of broke through as like a top seed type of team. So, but that'll be a fun series with Cleveland, with Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. And
James Harden's in Cleveland now?
Yeah, he got traded at the deadline.
He's been on 17 teams.
He does not care at all. He just
Yeah, I mean,
he cares about his legacy, trying to win his title. He don't care where it is.
No.
And he's still like virtually the same player he's been. Like, still does all the same things he's been doing offensively and stuff like that. But it's funny, like the way he bounces around the league like that.
Yeah, he's been everywhere. All right, well, that's all I have tonight. We're gonna get out of here. Hopefully, we're talking about good competitive series that these teams are in, and not sent home packing. So we're gonna get out of here. Go subscribe to Apple Podcasts and Spotify, anywhere you get podcasts. Like us on Instagram, X, Facebook, all the good places. And we will see everybody next Tuesday. See you then.